Smeargle and Tapu Lele are the leads that Jamie decides to go with, while Nils on the other side leading with Mimikyu and Tapu Koko. The Electric Surge is going to go ahead and activate, signifying that that Tapu Koko is going to be much, much faster than that Tapu Lele. Now bringing out its Psychic Surge. It is actually going to be a Psychic Seed Tapu Lele.
Wow.
So that's going to go ahead and make it a bit harder to knock out from that Tapu Koko.
Yeah, very interesting, though. Mimikyu is one of those Pokemon that can be trained to outspeed Tapu Lele and pick up the one-hit KO if it has something like a Ghostium Z. But Smeargle, of course, can easily just follow me and redirect any attacks. It has a number of support options. Tapu Koko, though, will be faster than both. The electric terrain isn't up, so, I mean, it's going to deal negligible damage to Tapu Lele. Smeargle also can put Pokemon to sleep if it wants, since electric terrain isn't up. So it'll be really interesting to see how this turn plays out, but I have to like Jamie's position here.
Yeah, a lot of players, they actually use Smeargle for fake-out support, but, you know, seeing that he led it with the Tapu Lele, I believe that maybe the Smeargle doesn't have to rely on fake-out support in order for it to function properly.
Yeah, it's not going to go for a fake-out this turn. Who knows if it even has fake-out, considering he's got the Tapu Lele.
Tapu Koko now going for a Volt Switch, hitting into that Smeargle slot. Now Tapu Koko going to retreat back to Nils' bench, and Nils can react. No switches happen, so maybe now Nils is just trying to find better board position against this Smeargle and this Tapu Lele.
Yeah, he absolutely wants to, because, you know, Tapu Koko's not in a good spot there, and he's going to want to get the electric terrain back up later in the game.
Yep, and now the Tapu Lele goes for a Psychic. Gonna hit that Snorlax, doing about 40%. Smeargle, of course, thanks to the Psychic terrain, is gonna be able to go for a Spore and put that Mimikyu to sleep. Mimikyu will not be able to move just yet, but it does take its first turn of sleep.
Yep, which is good, so it's going to have a chance to wake up, but here's Moody.
Nope, an accuracy boost. Not going to matter too much now that Dark Void is no longer in the format, and a special defense drop, but Smeargle is at such low health, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, not a very relevant Moody boost or drop that turn, but you see exactly why you do want to retreat the Tapu Koko to bring in later, because, you know, the Psychic terrain right now, it's not only powering up Tapu Lele's attacks, but it's also allowing Smeargle to put Pokemon to sleep. So Tapu Koko coming in potentially this next turn, or even in a future turn, allowing Snorlax to take less damage from Psychic and not be at risk of getting put to sleep. Certainly an option for Nils.
Alright, moving now into the next turn. Tapu Lele is going to retreat, coming back, and Jamie is going to replace it with his own Snorlax here. Really strong matchup here between two Snorlaxes. Battle of the Titans. Tapu Koko is going to replace the sleeping Mimikyu after it has already taken its first turn of sleep, and, you know, try to prevent more Pokemon from being put to sleep thanks to that electric terrain, and it does. Great call right there from Nils to, you know, kind of electrify the battlefield, wake everything up. Snorlax now on Nils' side goes for a return and hits, a frustration into the Snorlax over there, as the Moody boosts are going to be irrelevant on Jamie's Smeargle.
Yeah, but Tapu Koko's going to be faster than Smeargle and able to pick up the knockout. Snorlaxes are both facing off against each other, so it's going to depend entirely on what the speed of each is, and as well as what their setup move of choice is. But right now, Tapu Koko's in a good spot, considering it has its terrain up. We saw it block that Spore, which is key, but it looks like Jamie switched out that Tapu Lele. You know, you get rid of the special defense boost, but it allows you to get your Psychic terrain up later.
Yeah, and that might be important later on. We always talk about those terrain wars. Tapu Koko now using Volt Switch here, going to hit that Smeargle and pick up the KO. So Nils removing a pretty big threat. You know, Smeargle, you never want to have your entire team put to sleep.
Yeah, that's a great turn, too, because it lets him put Tapu Koko back in the... put it in the back so that should Tapu Lele come in, you can reset terrain again. Yep,
and Nihilego is going to replace the Tapu Koko as Nils' Snorlax, finding this turn to use its Belly Drum attack and maximizes its attack stat at the cost of half of its hit points. Of course, that combo is really well with the Gluttony ability. As Snorlax goes for a high horsepower, hits that Nihilego and picks up the KO. So right there, Nils forced to switch in that Nihilego, but unfortunately, pays the price.
Yeah, but he does get his Snorlax set up with the Belly Drum, and we saw that his Snorlax was either faster or won a speed tie, so that is going to be good in the Snorlax mirror match. But unfortunately, you lose that Nihilego so fast. You know, it didn't have a Focus Sash there, so that does kind of give you a hint on its item. It is either the 50% Healing Berry going for a full Trick Room set, or it's a Choice Scarf set.
Yeah, absolutely, and, you know, it is kind of scary now staring down the fully powered Snorlax on the other side, because you had to figure out a way to deal with it before it can do too much damage to your side of the field. The sleeping Mimikyu now comes... Oh, that's a pretty good counter.
That is a pretty good great answer to that Snorlax.
Yep, so now the Pheromosa hits the field for Jamie. That is going to be threatening that Snorlax very well. One of the downsides to that Belly Drum variant, it doesn't get any sort of defense boosts. unless you use Stockpile.
Yeah, we do see that sometimes where Snorlaxes do opt for both Stockpile and Belly Drum, but usually not too common. What'll be interesting to see if the Snorlax has Protect in order to, keep it safe another turn. Hope Mimikyu wakes up and is able to get an attack off, and, if Formosa even has high jump kick, and there is the Protect.
Snorlax using Protect here. Gonna try to protect itself as Pheromosa goes for a high
that
jump
could
kick,
be
but
big.
Yep, that's 50% of its health done right now because it does not make contact with anything at all. As Mimikyu continues to stay asleep, Snorlax now is going to be able to move on Jamie's side, and that's just going to go for a Belly Drum as well. So here we are with two Snorlaxes, powerhouses of this format now set up with Belly Drums as Snorlax goes ahead and munches away on its berry to heal back 50% in a pinch, but thanks to that Gluttony ability, well, Snorlax might get a little hungry just a little bit sooner.
Yeah, Nils really needed Mimikyu to wake up that turn to be able to pick up the knockout on Formosa, because right now as Snorlax, even though it got the Belly Drum off, it's getting threatened right now by the Formosa, and it doesn't matter if Jamie's Snorlax had the Belly Drum up as well. As long as that Formosa was gone, then Nils Snorlax would be able to pick up the knockout onto Jamie's Snorlax before it could even move, but unfortunately, Mimikyu's still asleep.
Mimikyu cannot move right there using a plus priority attack since it tried to sleep there earlier. Pheromosa goes for a Poison Jab, hitting that Mimikyu and gonna go ahead and bust that Disguise, possibly setting up for a KO next turn. Pheromosa does reveal that it is the Life Orb variant, and now Snorlax on Nils' side goes for a Frustration, hits that Snorlax on Jamie's side and picks up the KO easily. That Snorlax kept moving before Jamie's, which may signify that Nils' Snorlax might be slightly faster. A lot of players are, varying how they train their Snorlaxes in speed.
Yeah, especially in significant moments like the Snorlax mirror match. As we saw right there, it's important if your Snorlax is faster than the other one. I'm not sure why Formosa decided not to target the Snorlax, kind of ignoring it, even though it had just protected the turn before, instead choosing to bust the Disguise of Mimikyu. Perhaps it's because Mimikyu would be really strong against the Tapu Lele in the back, but you're staring down two big threats. It's tough.
Yeah, and one thing that Mimikyus can do, they can go for Z Destiny Bonds, which kind of give it a follow me effect. Maybe worried that Mimikyu could wake up and go for that maneuver. Tapu Koko is going to replace the Snorlax here, going to sacrifice that Belly Drum boost, going to change the terrain instead, and kind of take away from the amount of damage that this Tapu Lele can do. Mimikyu does wake up, goes for a Shadow Sneak here, could possibly get a KO on Pheromosa because of its frail defenses, and Pheromosa does get knocked out. And it looks like Jamie now down to his last legs here. Jamie's Tapu Lele goes for his Psychic, and again, even with that Psychic terrain, that was not going to KO that Mimikyu at all.
Yeah, that was not a whole lot of damage done to Mimikyu, less than half, but a great play bringing Tapu Koko in there. You knew Mimikyu was going to wake up that turn, and Shadow Sneak would easily take